continue, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes just for a moment. Let your body just take a deep breath and relax. Feel your chair holding you, supporting you. Let your shoulders relax. Let your face soften, your cheeks, your eyes, your mouth. And if you'd like to, gently bring Tiffany's smile to your mind. Her bright, warm, dynamic presence. Bring her presence to your heart, the special person that she was to you. Feel that love as you breathe. That love is yours to keep. That light is yours to keep. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes.
Thank you, Christina. Now, Ava will bring us the ritual of libations.
My name is Ava Square, and I met Tiffany when we were both graduate students at the California Institute of Integral Studies. She moved on to another university to get her PhD from, but I became a member of Dreamfish, and I did some wonderful projects with Tiffany. Her brilliance is still shining because we are still letting it shine through us. I do apologize. I forgot to hit the button for the drumming for the slideshow. So that's why we didn't have drumming. So that was a little taste. I am going to share my screen for the libation, and we will get on with it. As I pour,
Welcome, everybody. It feels really good to be in community with all of you to honor Tiffany's life. Thank you, Christina and Ava, for the moving ritual openings to the memorial. I can feel it in my body.
Let's take a moment to take in everybody who all is here with us this morning. So we're going to unspotlight ourselves so that you can see the full screen. And you might have to click on gallery view and take us all in. You have to probably swipe from one screen to the next, depending on your device. But we have 70 of us basically here today. So go ahead and take us in here together. Yeah. We also want to thank you for coming on behalf of Tiffany's family, her mother Camille, her stepdad Tom, her brother Buddy, sister-in-law Jenny, niece Mackenzie, and nephew Riley. You will meet Camille, Tom, and Buddy shortly. Tiffany asked 3 of us to create a memorial or a celebration of her life for her. And you'll meet Lisa, one of her oldest friends, soon. I am Paul, and I met Tiffany in 1997 when we were both in the same doctoral cohort that Ava was also in that same doctoral cohort. She just mentioned that at the California Institute of Integral Studies. Tiffany and I connected around both of us being queer, having backgrounds in the theater, dealing with major medical issues, and being creators of unique projects. Our first independent collaboration was in 2000, a 6-month facilitators workshop group called CALL, which stood for Change Agents Learning Lab.
And I'm Peen, and I met Tiff in the winter of 2005-2006 at the Stanford Facilitated Training Program. And we facilitated our first Stanford Tea group together. We sort of fell in love with each other. Tiff was someone who you could be around and be fully seen and be fully yourself. She had more experience than I with tea groups though, because she co-facilitated before with Charlie Seashore. And Paul and I continued to work with Tiff at Stanford, and then we're both part of Dreamfish, one of the nonprofits she started. And in 2017, Tiffany and I started Include, an educational nonprofit for inclusive leadership. And Paul was part of some of the Include projects. We want to thank Ava, who just did the libations. She also created the photo collage and the video testimonials that you will see later on. I'm sorry that there was some audio problems with that and that you couldn't hear Ava speak or could hear the drumming earlier on during the photo collage. And we really want to thank you, Ava. Thank you.
Thank you, Ava.
And we want to introduce Sarah, who met Tiff through Sonoma State University as a student in Tiffany's interpersonal dynamics in OD class, and who then participated in an Include program, The Art of Self. Sarah told us the following about Tiff. Tiff had her own body of incredible work, yet importantly, she inspired others to have the audacity to create their own work in the world. Sarah is our Zoom master today, and we thank you so much for all the work you've done and are doing. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Tiffany's wishes were to have a celebration of her life that reflects who she was in the world. Her values and focuses of inquiry took her work out into many substantial structures, programs, articles, she created those from both her deep values of life and transformation and from her considerable skill, professional, productive, entrepreneurial. She did this across continents via students, mentees, clients, as well as partners, peers, and collaborators. Here are just a few of the projects she created. The workshops, Foundations of and Facilitating Diversity Dynamics for the Stanford T Group Facilitator Community. Chapter 12, Dreamscape, a multimedia collaboration method in the book Innovations in Transformative Learning. Facilitating over 2,000 leaders to network with each other in order to collaborate and learn across divisions at the Craigslist Foundation Nonprofit Bootcamp. The Improvisation Labs in Germany, which she drew from as primary material for her PhD dissertation.
Informing these and all the many other ventures she initiated, developed, and brought to life were core values she held. One being connection with self, with others, with nature, and then attending to what arises and responding from there. Another one, being with what is alive. And yet another one, somatics, the use of the body, creating knowledge and wisdom from the body. And those values inform our program for today's memorial. And here's what we have coming up. We'll start in trios and do a short meet and greet in breakout rooms. Then we'll have some video testimonials. We'll spend a bit longer time in breakout rooms to share with each other, followed by a second set of video testimonials. Then there will be a short movement piece, followed by the third video testimonials, and we'll end with the collective song, This Little Light of Mine. That'll be the end of the formal program, but there will be time for informal fellowship if you like to do that. Now, this is a Zoom event, and if you have technical difficulties, like we probably had before here, and you might experience some too, Sarah Lightfoot will be monitoring the chat function. You can either direct message her via chat, again, her name is Sarah Lightfoot, or just put your question in the chat box. You can find the chat function on the Zoom toolbar. For some of you, you might need to click on the 3 dots on the toolbar to see all of the functions, including chat.
All right, so now we're going to go into our first breakout rooms, just for 5 minutes. Please introduce yourself to the other 2 people in your breakout room. And we do want you to know that this memorial is being recorded, but what is said in the breakout rooms is not recorded. When we come back, we'll go straight into our first set of video testimonials.
We're so glad you're here. Welcome to those who just arrived or weren't able to cut into a breakout room. So glad you're here and we got a chance to share. Welcome back, everybody.
Hi, I'm Buddy. I'm Tiffany's younger brother.
Hi.
And I want to thank everybody for coming and joining the celebration of life today. And on behalf of the family and myself, a deep, heartfelt thank you to our friends who put this celebration of life together. As we all know, it's been a challenging year, and so I feel really blessed that Tiffany had the tribe that she did, so heartfelt thank you and virtual hugs to everyone. My name Buddy actually comes from Tiffany. When I was born, Tiffany was about 2.5 years older than I am, and she could not say baby brother, so she said something that sounded like Buddy, and my name became Buddy henceforth. And so Tiffany's had her fingerprints on my life, from essentially near the first breath. And she was a big sister in the classic sense of a big sister. I remember her as a protector, early on, and, ringleader. And so our early years were, I was her reluctant assistant in most things. And, and she also was my protector, and I always had that sense of Tiffany being my protector as, as a child, and, even had that sense of her being kind of like this, umbrella of protection, even as she got weak, and I always have had that, just that feeling and that sense that, this is my big sister, that watches out over me, and it's a feeling that I even have today. I'll give you one quick story of this, and it's kind of an extreme example, but accurate. When I was 9 and Tiffany was about 12, we were walking through Central Park, New York City, early-ish 80s, probably 82, 83 actually. And we're walking through Central Park. Tiffany was ahead of me a little bit. I'm on roller skates. She's on foot, and she's kind of yelling at me to catch up. I don't know what was having me lag behind a little bit, but out of the bushes came 3 guys, and they grabbed me. And it was, going to be my first experience with a New York mugging. When they grabbed me, I yelled, "Tiffany." Well, Tiffany immediately turns around and with the ferocity of a lion charges these guys, screaming, "Let go of my brother." And it was so startling, I think, to these guys who were much older than her, that this 12-year-old girl was charging them, yelling, "Let go of my brother," that they did, and, and all was safe. But, I just remember just, while I was being held by those guys and seeing my sister charge at us, I was thinking, man, this girl's the bravest human being I've ever seen. And, and I've seen that, I've had that feeling many times. I've seen Tiffany do incredible things with her life, that, redefined bravery for me. And, and Tiffany always, from the earliest time, has always had that spirit of following her own path, knowing what she knew was right or wrong, and sticking to it, and, what a marvelous example, for a younger brother to have, So I am, deeply saddened by her loss, and yet fully supported by, just the so many blessed memories that I have of her presence, and feel so fortunate that, that Tiffany gave me so much. We shared so many moments, authentic moments. And I still feel her today, and, I frame her passing, really as a, as a release from this, physical realm. And I believe that Tiffany's soul is, free to be and do, as her spirit, truly is, that, that she's with me and with us, and, and in a more expansive than ever, and that brings me comfort, So, again, very grateful that everyone joined today to celebrate Tiffany's life, and I thank you, and I send heartfelt love out to all. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hello. I'm Lisa Kistler, and we're in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I'm with my husband, Randy, and 2 of our 4 daughters, Allegra and Antonia. And here are the other 2, Cecilia and Cheyenne, and they couldn't be here today, but Tiffany was also very important to them. I met Tiffany in 1991 when I moved to Ventura, and she was doing Zen Shiatsu. I went to see her for a Zen Shiatsu, and she was amazing. I had never met anybody like Tiffany. She was a visionary, fearless, and back then she had this idea she wanted to open a community learning center. So I found some of our old pamphlets. I helped her open the Empowerment Place, and she had a group of people coming in and teaching unbelievable things 30 years ago, really. So these are some of our pamphlets from the Empowerment Place. We had so much fun there. What is most alive for me about Tiffany is her ability to be rooted in the moment. Her ability to be so present with you that you felt like there was nothing else going on in the world. And I think a lot of people want to feel like that, and they don't. I used to watch her with these two when they were toddlers. And if you hang around toddlers, you know, they are always rooted in the moment and nothing else matters. Nothing, not the future, not the past. And Tiffany had that ability. And when she would come and hang out with them as toddlers, she would sit on the floor and just bounce a ball back and forth. And they love that. And most adults can't do that. There's just too much going on. And she had a joyfulness and that ability to be so present in you. Love it so much. I learned so much about how to connect with other people on a deeper level. Love her. Love you, Tiffany.
Oh, good job, Mom. What's alive for me with Tiffany is her presence, and how whenever I was in her presence, like, I just had a calming feeling, and I could just feel her kindness and her wisdom, and just how it felt to be with her.
I think one of the first memories I have of Tiffany is her teaching me how to cut a tomato using a knife. And all of my memories of Tiffany, she just exudes this patience and this groundedness and this almost like ethereal, deeper understanding that it was really like she could see you and she could see all of you, and it was just full of love. And that's how I remember her, and that's what is alive for me always.
Yes, Tiffany was one of the most confident, self-effacing people I've ever known, and exuded that in people that she came across all the time.
We love Tiffany.
We do.
Love you, Tiffany.
Hi, everyone. It's so great to see everyone's faces. I see flowers in someone's picture. That's really lovely. One of the things that just has come up for me in seeing the pictures that I'm pretty sure some of those pictures Camille sent in were from pictures of Tiffany in a hospital bed. And something has also emerged right now in this moment is her ability to carve out joy in difficult times. And she spent 3 weeks in Cedars-Sinai in the middle 90s, and she was a young 20s. And I, at that point, had not had a peer go through a heavy surgery. So I was driving down from Ventura to LA to see her in Cedars-Sinai. And I was quite worried. I'm thinking this could be super intense. I'm not sure what I'm in for, but I'm, going. And what she had done in that room and in those 3 weeks was she created community. And it was phenomenal. I know, Camille, you're sitting there thinking about it. She related and talked to the staff, the doctors and the nurses in such a way that they all wanted more. And on their time off, they would flow into her room. I was there one day, someone came in, they had a patient that had just passed, and they wanted to come and talk to Tiffany about it. Her room was like a therapy session for hospital staff. It was extraordinary. One day I show up and she's about 2 weeks in this hospital. It's in the middle of LA. And she's, Lisa, I have to get out of here just for a second. So I'm like, okay, now she's all hooked up. She's got it, all hooked up. And I'm like, well, just a second. So I look out the window, I look down, and across the street, there's a coffee shop. And I'm like, well, let's try to go there. So we walk out past the nurses' station, and the nurses are like, hello, what are you doing? I'm like, Tiffany's like, we're just walking the hall. She's like, okay. Down the hall, around the corner, down the elevator. We go out. She's in a hospital gown, just in her hospital gown, right? We go down the street in LA, down the block, across the street, down the block to the middle of this coffee shop. We go in and she walks in like she's on the red carpet. We have her cart, she's all hooked up. Her hospital gown is open in the back and she walks in like she owns that coffee joint. And she orders, back even 30 years ago in LA, you could get 6 different milk alternatives, right? So she orders whatever, yak milk latte. She gets it. We walk out and like she's in a ball gown. We walk out, we walk down the street, across the street, down the block, up the elevator, past the nurse's station with our fancy coffees. And the nurses are like, what? We got back in that room and I swear, I still feel that laughter. I still feel that. My ribs hurt so much. We laughed for about a half an hour. And the joy of those moments with her, I still feel them. So what we're doing now in the memorial, in a way of honoring her and values of connection and sharing and participatory learning, this next part of the memorial, you will have 20 minutes in a breakout room to share your name, how you know Tiffany, and maybe how you were impacted by her or a memory of her or a feeling. And please know it is also okay not to share. We have designed this time frame for about 5 or 6 folks in a room to support an environment where everyone can share. You'll be given a message halfway through to help you manage that goal and you'll be selecting your own breakout rooms. Now, this is the instruction part. Okay. In your toolbar, you should see a breakout room function. You may have to click on the 3 dots above more in order for the breakout room function to show. When you click on it, you'll be given a choice about which room to go to. The rooms have been named for areas of Tiff's life. You will recognize one or more that relate to you. If you get into a room with a whole bunch of folks and you think that maybe you won't have enough time to share, you can leave the breakout room by clicking on the breakout room and selecting another. Do not click on leave the meeting or you'll be bumped off Zoom. Okay. It will be up to you at this point to land where you want to go and monitor your time. If you do not have the option of self-selecting breakout rooms on your computer or device, don't worry, just hang on and we'll help you. For those of you that can self-select, go ahead now and the magic of Zoom will take you to a breakout room. If you're still here, we have you, and by we, I mean the magical Sarah. She's right now soon posting a list of rooms in the chat. So as she comes to you, you tell her which room you want to go to. Okay? Okay, I'm sending everyone big hugs and hoping you all soon get into a breakout room.
Thank you for coming to honor Tiffany's life with all of us today. I'm sure there will be people here. She's changed so many lives for the better. She taught us compassion for others, but also for ourselves. And I know she will be living forever through the ripple effect of all that she gave of herself. She truly was a marvelous gift. There just are no words to describe the good that she did in her life. I just want to share with you her baby moments, because when all is said and done, at the end of the day, we're mothers if we've had children. I can still feel the memory of her little back on my hand, holding her, as mothers have that memory of their babies' backs on their hands when you're nursing them. Then when she was 5, I realized, actually maybe 4, she was definitely a teacher born. And teachers are those who see the beauty that we don't see in ourselves, and they reflect it back to us. And so to me, there's just no greater calling than that of being a teacher. her big productions in the driveway, in the garage, from the age of 4, right off the bat, she was producing big vaudeville shows with every child in the neighborhood. And they discovered that they had talents. And she continued that. Then in my Montessori class, I turned around one day, she was 4 or 5, and she was going from table to table, sitting with children, teaching them how to read. And the joy in her face and in the child's face that she was teaching was just so adorable. And I knew that she was following her aliveness, and she did that through her whole life. She's been a teacher to me, a mentor, a best friend. But at the end of the day, she'll always be my beautiful baby girl. Thank you for coming. Goodbye.
I love this idea of a virtual hug. This is pretty cool. And here I am coming to you live from Bump Bed Studios. Sorry, I felt like I had to start with something funny, which is sort of the story of most of my interactions with Tiffany. She tried to get me to go deep, and I'd go with something silly, something probably obnoxious, and something that I thought was funny. And then she'd get me to get into those feelings, even when I didn't want to feel the feelings. But I think what I will be most grateful for will be the fact that she was willing to take me under her wing when she had absolutely no obligation to do so. And even after I was done with the OD program at Sonoma State, like, she still was open to sitting in curiosity with me and really tapping into why something was important to me and why I was pursuing something, and whether or not that was the right fit for me, and how to best be my authentic self wherever I went. And I think for that, I'll forever be grateful, because I think at the end of the day, she really got me to realize that I started this new phase in my life because I wanted to be that person I didn't have when I was a kid. And, I didn't have a whole lot of folks to kind of at least show me a path, even if it wasn't the one I took. And I think at times when I had an opportunity to speak with her, she was able to show me a path. And for that, I'll forever feel a particular debt to her that I didn't get a chance to pay up. And yeah, I will always be grateful for the fact that I got to spend that time with somebody as special as her, that while she was on earth was able to leave such a wonderful legacy. Thank you, Tiff.
Thank you, Richard. I want to acknowledge that we are running late, and so we apologize. If you have to leave, when you have to leave, then leave. We hope to still finish in the neighborhood of 11:45 California time. Hope you can stay with us. If you can't, we understand. Before I lead us now in some movement with Tiffany, I want to first talk briefly about this option that we have provided. We're calling it informal fellowship. So if we were in person in the same center, a community center, or some sort of space where we could all be together, After the program is over, people could just find each other and socialize in the lobby or on their way back to the parking lot or something. Well, we're not in a actual physical shared location. So we hope to approximate on Zoom that informal option for anyone who would like it. So what we'll do, like we had the self-selecting breakout rooms a minute ago, we will have 20 self-selecting breakout rooms, just numbered 1 through 20. And so you can choose to go into one. You could private message somebody in chat if you've seen them, you want to connect and you didn't get a chance to yet, and say, hey, let's meet in room 11. Or you could just watch as the rooms are populated by people after we're all done and see your friend that you want to join that room and click join. Or you could just put yourself in a room and then other people could find you that way. So those are some of the options for how, if you choose to, you could do some informal fellowship and socializing with people after our program is officially over. All right, but now what I want to do is invite you to stand up. If you are able to join me in standing up, then I invite you to join me in standing up. And I want you to just feel yourself in your body for a sec. Maybe wiggle your knees or your hips or your shoulders or your spine and kind of find yourself in that good old flesh and blood thing that you are in your somatic self. Feel your breath. Maybe allow yourself to find some rhythm, feeling the weight of the physical body on planet Earth. The Earth is holding you. She brings you to her. You belong here. And that is effectuated through the physicality of your body, through your weight on planet Earth. Just feel into that a minute. And notice your space, the space of the room you're in, wherever you are. Just be present to that through your own physicality, the front of your body to the front of your space, the back of your body to the back of your space, the top of your head to the top of your space. See what's around you and how you feel in relationship to it. And then how you feel in relationship to us. And knowing through this screen, we are 59 of us here on this Zoom memorial. And allowing yourself to be in relationship to your body and what's happening in it and how you feel, allowing the feelings to be there in relationship to time and space and weight and your flow and each other. And now, while you're still standing, I'm going to invite you to join Tiffany in her movement that Ava is now sharing. Go ahead and follow Tiffany's gesture. Go ahead and do the movement that she's doing and allow it to feel how it feels in you to join her. This little loop will repeat 3 times. So just find your way to do that with her. And as you keep repeating it and playing with it, what does it feel like? What's happening in your body? What's happening in your heart? What's happening in your relationships to her and to all of us doing this together? Let it grow or shrink as feels appropriate. Allow your breath, maybe your voice to come in. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for moving with Tiffany, who loved movement. And thank you for moving with each other and thereby embodying Tiffany's values of connection, attending to what arises and responding from there, being with what is alive. Somatics, use of the body, creating knowledge and wisdom from the body. Now we'll show our final video testimonials.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Stanley, Camille's husband and Tiffany's stepfather. Thank you for attending Tiffany's memorial. Camille and I were with Tiffany her last days. Actually, we moved into her house so that we could be with her 24/7 to ease her transition. And I feel honored by that experience. It's something that I'll never forget. The past year or so, I've been busy maintaining the landscaping around Tiff's home, the landscaping that she so painstakingly planned and planted. And from time to time, I have to tell you, I just get the feeling that she's sitting on my shoulder there. In one particular instance, I haven't told Camille about this, but she'll see it here. One instance, my attention was directed to a plant that was basically bent over double because of the bloom on top was so heavy. And the feeling was that this plant needs to be supported. And as I was looking at it, I just said, well, you know, to put a wooden stake in the ground and tie it with a piece of twine isn't going to do it. It needs an appropriate support. So something told me to get up and go in the garage. I went in the garage. I had this feeling to turn left. I turned left, middle shelf, and there it was, wrapped in paper, were half a dozen appropriate supports for this plant. So I picked one out, took it out, supported the plant, and immediately had this feeling of joy that I don't think was coming from me, but it was there. And I attribute that to being Tiffany's presence. And not the first time I felt it there. Don't always feel it, but certainly did feel something then. So Tiffany, we know you're not gone. We don't know where you are, but you're not gone. And given the appropriate passage of time, we will all see you around the bend.
I also want to add my voice and say a couple of words about Tiffany. We all put our words in the Google form of what Tiffany represented it for us, and we heard some of those in the pouring of the libation. And words that come up for me are phrases that she used to say. One of them is, what is alive right here or right now? And it's how we would choose our work projects on Include. Is this alivening? Is this adding to the life force in both of us? But it's also how I saw her live her life, which was amazing to witness. She would find that what was enlivening for her in the moment, and she would follow that. She had this incredible ability to be with whatever was true in the moment, whatever was alive in the moment, to be with that in herself, but also if you were in relation with her, if you were, to be with whatever was happening in that space. And then she would really attune to that, and this ability to attune to that and then move from there. She would do that, her life was like a constant improvisation, and not without intention. There was a lot of intention with it, but it was moving with the moment, with what was coming up, bottom up here, not the shoots or what we think should be happening, but what is really true right now. And she was this. Another word that comes to mind is teacher. She would say, I was born to be a teacher. And what a teacher she was. She was brilliant in her design, brilliant in her ability to take concepts and then make lived experiences of it, so that you wouldn't just get it here, but in your body and in your bones. And she would say, my mission in life has been to decolonize the mind, to create a relational culture. And she was very good at creating relational culture, at creating community. And so another words that come to mind are generous heart. Even when she was very sick, she would ask people around her, so how are you doing with all this? And it was just so moving to see her and witness her like that. Tiffany was somebody who could create spaces and experiences where people could feel that they belonged. And I definitely felt, she definitely did that for me. She created spaces where she created space for me where I felt I belonged, and where I felt I could say anything to her, and she would be able to hold it, and we together could move with it. And so I want to thank Tiffany. Thank you, Tiff, for all of who you were, the amazing, phenomenal, brilliant woman you were, and for all that you gave to all of us, and for all that you did in the world, and for what you stood for. I'm so grateful to have been able to know you and to be your friend. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you.
Oh, it's kind of hard to talk right after those testimonials. It was really beautiful and moving, and thank you so much for all of the testimonials, and Tom and P right at the end. I'm so grateful we have had this time together, and it seems like it's gone so fast. In the closing of our memorial will be a collective song. And after the song is over, as a way to provide fellowship, like Paul talked about, like coffee cake after a service, for anyone that might want to, there'll be self-selecting breakout rooms like he discussed, okay? All right, there is something magical that happens when people sing together in collective unity. So even though we can't be in the same physical space, we are trying to create that feeling here today. This song, This Little Light of Mine, is a song Camille used to sing to Tiffany and Buddy when they were little. It's also a song that Tiffany used in her work with groups. Some of you sent videos of yourself singing this song, and they were put together in one video. And in this video, we sing the same verse 4 times. And for the first verse, the words will be up on the screen. Okay, so if you haven't already, light your candle now if you have one. I see a couple people grabbing their candles. Okay, so you're gonna light your candle and you're gonna raise your voice with all of us and sing together with the video. In celebration of her life, the light she helped light in others and that continues to shine. So I am sending love to all of you, and let's sing together. Can you guys come?
gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Yes, the shining.
Oh, during breakout.
You can find Carol. Carol, Steven.
We're supposed to break out room, I think, right?